popular saying that today is the first day of the rest of our lives. It follows then that today is also the first day of the future of farming. Today is the first day of the future of farming. And since farming is fundamental to our nation's health and well-being, it's well for us to know what the young adult farmers who will mold that future are doing, thinking, feeling, saying. The men you're about to hear from are all members of their local young farmer associations. On a thriving farm outside of Tipton, Georgia, today is the first day of the rest of the L.A. Womack family's life.
Today, I'm working about 1,500 acres of land, and I'm mainly in peanuts. That's our main money crop. I used to grow tobacco, but our main crop now is peanuts, and we have 500 acres of peanuts, approximately 200 acres of corn. We have 75 brood cows, mostly Angus, and we have about 75, 80 brood sows. I got started farming about 7 or 8 years ago, and I started small. I was in FFA in high school, and I had approximately 1 acre of tobacco and a couple of 3 acres of peanuts and 5, 6 acres of corn. And I'd mostly tend to it after school. And as time went on, I guess I just grew into it. I just loved it more and more. We have our young farmers here in the state of Georgia, which was organized in 1970. And our Tifton chapter, which I'm a member of, we have approximately 102 members. And we have different people in speaking to us at our meetings, which our meetings go from September through March, I think it is, during our slack time. And we have extension people here from the experiment station, and we have our peanut specialist and tobacco specialist and herbicide men, fertilizer men. And they keep us up to date on what's happening and what chemicals are being used. I'm not getting any smaller, I'm getting bigger, so it looks good to me. Our price support keeps coming up on stuff, and I'm not planning on getting out. I'm on getting bigger.
I'm not getting out. I'm going to get bigger. A familiar story among young farmers everywhere. Today is the first day of the rest of Dwayne Bruckhart's life. His farm is at Sterling, Colorado.
You know, I wouldn't trade farming for anything in the world. I love farming. It's a great way of life. I was born and raised in this locality, Sterling, Colorado. I've been here for 32 years, and I think it's the only way to go. About 10 years ago, my father had a tractor accident. He rolled a tractor and broke his back, and he was in the hospital for quite some time. Ever since then, we do have cabs in our tractors. We are a family-type corporation, my father and I. We have about 1,000 acres in a rotation of corn, pinto beans, sugar beets, and alfalfa. Our corporation today has assets of over $200,000 in investment in land, livestock, and machinery. Livestock today is probably our biggest investment. Land is number 2 and machinery number 3. We have circular sprinklers, open ditch, and gated pipe for irrigation. I feel farmers of today should keep abreast of the modern trends in agriculture. And by doing this, they should join a young farmer group in their community. I joined the Northeastern Junior College Young Farmer Group in Sterling, Colorado.
Another feeling shared by the young farmers on which our future depends. On a Brownstown, Indiana farm, today is the first day of the rest of the lives of Park and Nina Veslich and their twin boys.
I chose farming as an activity and a career because I like the way it is. It's a freedom of life. It's a freedom of expression to do what you want, when you want, and how you want to do it. It lets you do what you want to do and be your own boss to choose your own time schedules. I started in farming by a 4-H project. Really, I was always interested in farming from being a little boy, but I started in the 4-H beef project at age 8 and gradually grew into more beef and livestock projects, finally getting into cropping programs, and now into the total picture. My present operation contains approximately 700 acres of farmland with about 200 head of cattle on feed, 250 head of hogs on feed at a time, with 50 brood cows calving once a year. We have 400 acres of corn out, 100 acres of beans, and approximately 100 acres of wheat a year. This total investment would represent approximately $600,000, with $400,000 of that being in land, another $125,000 in equipment, and $75,000 in improvements to the farm. I married the girl I met showing cattle at the county fairs. I've got a kind of a quick family. My wife and I have been married 6 years, and we have twin boys age 3, Mark and David. As you can see, they're growing quite well. One of these days they'll be following my footsteps, I'm sure. The need for education on the agricultural level is very great in Indiana, because several people are not as fortunate as I was to attend college. Therefore, we have Indiana Young Farmers programs whereby we continue our education nightly, once a month, and have various social programs going on through the year. Also, I feel for us to grow, we must trade more with other nations of the world, particularly Red China and Russia. I feel the view of individual farming in the future will be very great, because each farmer, I feel, must expand to feed more and more people that are coming into this world every day. The need for agricultural products is growing because the per capita consumption of each product is increasing every year. I feel that the future for me in farming is very bright.
And with young farmers like these, the future of our nation is very bright. Today is the first day of the rest of Wendell Kent's life, which he plans to spend with his family on his spacious spread near Sweetwater, Texas.
We mainly chose farming, I guess, to fulfill the dream that I had as a boy of being a farmer. I was raised on a stock farm here in West Texas. My mother and father were farmers and ranchers. Operation at present has expanded to what I feel is about as efficient as one man can oversee. We cover about between 5,000 and 6,000 acres of farm and ranch land. On this, we grow cotton mainly. Some 900 acres are devoted to cotton. We have 400 to 500 acres devoted to grain sorghum. Our livestock operation consists mainly of mother cows. We do run 300 to 400 head of yearling steers, either on the pasture if we have the extra grass, or in the feedlot on a growing ration. We don't finish or fatten any cattle, but we mainly grow them out for the feedlots around this area. There's a lot of investment in equipment, in livestock, in the land. Presently, I guess we probably have $50,000 to $60,000 worth of equipment, about that much in cattle, and about $100,000 in land. For the farmer, I'm very proud to be a working part of our Young Farmer organization in Texas. I've been a member of the Young Farmers ever since I started farming. I feel that we get a lot of education from this, a lot of practical education, rather than the formal education, and of course this is what pays off out in the field. The Young Farmer organization stresses the use of educational programs in our yearly program of work. Overall, I feel that the agriculture scene is very bright for the young farmer. There's not anything in it that will help someone to get rich quick. I feel that we have a comfortable living from it, that we enjoy it, and but to me, we must keep up with the changing times.
We must keep up with the changing times. the watchword of young farmers all over this vast land of ours. On the Ivan Yost farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, it's the first day of the rest of the Yost family's life.
I chose farming because it's a good way of life. It's a good place to raise children. You're working with the soil, you're working with cattle, and you also have an experience to rub shoulders with other businessmen and other people in the community. I got started when, right after we married, my wife and I moved on a farm that my father owned, and he furnished the cows. We furnished the labor and the equipment. We farmed in the halves for 2 years. Following that, we moved to this farm where we bought our own cows, the registered Holsteins, and built up to our present operation.
Well, this is strictly a family operation here. Each member of the family has their job. Verna and I take care of the bookkeeping. She takes care of registering the cattle, keeps up with the breeding information that we have to keep. The children have their jobs also. They bring the cows in from the pasture at milking time. Ivan Roy mows the lawn, and he and Karen take care of the calves and various other jobs they have, which are their responsibility. Verna also helps out in the farm work when we need her. The way I got started in Young Farmers is when I took an elevator, which I had borrowed from a neighbor, back to him. I asked him what I owed him for it. He told me if I'd go along with him to Young Farmer meeting, it wouldn't cost me anything. When I went along to Young Farmer meeting, I still remember the first speaker. We talked about feedlot management, and it impressed me. Later on, I took a course in land management. I liked Young Farmers because it's someplace I could go and I could learn. Farming, you got to keep up with the present trends and keep up with your education. And we learned other ways of farming and how they do it other places, and we've been able to adapt a lot of those practices to our practice right here in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Education, the keynote theme among today's young farmers. These have been typical spokesmen of the farm generation that's banded together in young farmer associations all over America. And as this day ends, tomorrow will become the first day of the rest of their lives. And ours too. Without them, we starve. We can find faith in the fact that our sustenance, our survival, are in strong, competent, industrious young hands, guided by bright, educated young minds.
We got to get back out to the farm.
Why don't we live in town?
Well, honey, my place of business is a farm, and it's better if we live there. If I ran a business here in town or worked here in town, we'd probably live here in town somewhere. There was a time when farming really wasn't thought of as a business. It was just a way of life to people. But today, to stay competitive, we have to think in terms of running a very efficient business. Our future and our family's future depend on how thorough we prepared for our professions, this profession of farming.
We in the city and suburbs think of farming as the wide open spaces, fresh air and sunshine. Well, it's still a reason for farming, but along with this vision of country life should go the story of a new breed, a businessman in the pursuit of excellence. Agricultural excellence. We know that the U.S. farmer is responsible for converting nature's resources to feed himself and 55 other people. But world population growth continues. Demand for food production grows with it. Precious acres of farmland are being converted to other uses. This is the challenge facing the farmer. It is a challenge which will be met by the professional in the science of agricultural production. We seldom think of farming as progressive financial management, as the latest technique in control of weeds and pests, as animal and plant genetics, as sophisticated, more productive equipment. Yes, and now they use computers to help make a variety of management decisions.
Farmers have to build new buildings, buy new equipment, make investments, plan for the future, just like any other businessman.
And improve they do. When each one averages an investment in their business of over $100,000, they must continue to take advantage of all available business techniques. Where do they get those skills?
Dad, were you always a farmer?
Well, I grew up on a farm, honey, and when I was in high school, I studied vocational agriculture and was a member of the FFA, just like you can be a member of the 4-H club next year, Chris.
Training begins early as age 8. They have the opportunity to participate in farm-related studies and join youth organizations involved in training young men and women to be leaders, community leaders, as well as agricultural. The 4-H clubs and Future Farmers of America instill early in their lives the pursuit of excellence. The development of leadership skills among these young people is as important to us as the technical skills they need to compete in today's world. Not only will these young people be called on to feed the world, but to play a major role in leading the world. In the next 15 years, we will need over 1 million new farmers in the United States. Highly educated young people with agricultural training will be the prime source of these replacements.
What are you doing, Dad?
Working on my books, honey, trying to keep my books up to date so I know where I stand on my expenses and receipts. I guess when your dad started farming after being a school teacher, he realized how important it was to keep a good set of records.
Daddy, if you were a school teacher, then why do you still go to school sometimes?
Well, every farmer, as well as every other businessman, needs to continue to learn every day. Every year, there's new things that we have to learn about, new fertilizer practices, new chemicals that we can use, new kinds of equipment, different farming practices that are new to our area maybe. So there's a lot of things that we have to continue to learn every year and every day, just like any other businessman.
We sometimes forget that farming is more than planting and harvesting. The farmer starts with soil testing and analysis to determine fertility. Then he buys and applies the right fertilizer needed for the crop being planted. He has to make proper application and selection of herbicides and pesticides to produce a plentiful supply of food while protecting our environment.
We always gamble a little when we plant too late or too early.
Farming is a risk venture in spite of all of our advances. Every farmer knows he cannot control all factors: weather extremes, droughts, flooding, wind, and hail. That's when Mother Nature turns robber and takes that crop away. Harvest is payday to the farmer and to the rest of us who depend on the food he provides. He, in turn, must depend upon today's sophisticated equipment. Now, this demands more education and training. A successful crop is when he combines labor and resources with the research and development of industries related to agriculture. After harvest comes more management decisions. Will the cost of storage be offset by better prices? Does he dare contract for sale a growing crop and live with the fear that he might not have that crop for delivery? Should he sell at harvest or hold for a better market? All major factors in farm management. Each of these decisions could involve all or at least a major part of his year's profit.
Livestock marketing is one of the decisions that a farmer has to make. Take these cattle here. Do we feed them and finish them out as feeder cattle, or do we sell them to somebody else to feed?
Daddy, what is feeder cattle?
Feeder cattle means that we would sell these cattle to someone else to use, finish them out, feeding their grain to them, and then they would sell them on the market.
With livestock, there is also a risk. You just can't store an animal that's ready for market until the price is right. For that matter, you can't stop crops from growing or stop machines from harvesting until the price is right. This is where farm management and professionalism must pay off. When he sells his crops or livestock, a farmer plows that money back into next year's operations. The decision-making process then begins again. Fortunately, he will not have to make his decisions alone.
We as farmers depend on agribusiness people for much of the information that we use in planning our farming operation for the future.
So they must spend many hours broadening their knowledge and experience through participating in their professional organizations and meetings conducted by suppliers of their tools of production. Agribusiness plays an important and close role in the life of the farmer. This unique relationship where user and producer share information to achieve a common goal materially contributed to the professional farmer in his pursuit of excellence. The net result? Our country is the best-fed nation in the world. Farm products are an economic necessity to the United States and to our battle for balance of trade, because American agricultural products are competitively exportable in the world market. If we accept the moral obligation to provide food for the hungry of the world, we can expect an increasing demand for farm products. U.S. grain for people on the other side of the world seems a long way from where it started. The family farm.
I was just thinking about history and how it tells about the early days in the country, and practically everybody was a farmer then. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, they were great leaders, but they were very progressive farmers too. It says right here that only about 7 out of every 100 people are farmers today, and those 7 out of every 100 are able to grow enough grain, raise enough livestock and produce enough cotton to provide for our food needs and fiber needs for America. And, well, that leaves everyone else free to educate, to govern, to do the things that make life better for everybody else. No other country in the world's like it. I hope I can do my part to help make it continue to be the way it is, and I guess that's why I'd have to say I'm proud to be a farmer.
I'm glad too.
I think we too can be proud of the farmer in his pursuit of agricultural excellence.
Time now for news and analysis of today's grain market, followed by the livestock report from markets in our area.
Farming today is a complex business. It's rapidly changing from day to day. Seems to me that there's so many variables to consider that the human mind can't possibly comprehend them all at once. It takes a computer to take all the inputs and variables and put them all together as an effective management tool.
We think of them as more than people that we're selling machinery to. They're somebody that we're kind of in business with together. And when agricultural and farm products sell at reasonable and good prices and they're making good profits, we know that we can expect to make good profits. We're in this thing together. Without them, we don't have anything.
We explain to the farmer that the computer is simply a sophisticated calculator. With a little bit of guidance, we can train him how to use this computer to solve his everyday farm problems.
The progressive farmer plans, but he plans in a complex world where prices, just like the weather, are always changing. He has made his decisions based on his farming experience, on what he knows about his own operation, and many times on a gut feeling about what to do. He knows what it costs him to farm. He knows what it would cost him to rent more acres or hire more part-time labor during harvest. But can he afford to? Will it make a profit? ProAg is a way of using the computer to do the arithmetic, to help evaluate the alternatives in complex situations. All the data or information about farming in the computer is based on years of university experiments about crops, cultivation practices, the weather, yields, and farm prices. Mr. Farmer can change the numbers to make them fit his own situation. The computer uses the farmer's information to build a mathematical model of his operation, and then it uses the model to find the most profitable way to operate his farm. The computer provides the technology, and International Harvestar provides the opportunity to combine the management skills of the farmer and the facilities, supporting services, and experience of the dealer. The program starts with the dealer, who has been trained in using the ProAg system and in helping his customers apply it to their own farming operations. Farmers who participate in the program first attend a workshop.
If he stumbles through life accidentally, we don't try to run him through a PROAG session. But if he's attempting to be a management-oriented type of an individual, then he's the type of fellow we'll choose.
Let's start with page 1.
The PROAG program is a very, very powerful tool, particularly for progressive farmers. And I don't mean young farmers necessarily. I mean anyone who thinks of his business as a growth operation, any farmer who thinks of himself as growing in the future.
The first task is to let the computer know the specifics of a farmer's operation. Then it can analyze the variables acre by acre.
The input form is amazingly simple to fill out. It does take a little comprehension and study and reworking the figures to put it in, but it's nothing beyond anybody's capabilities. Every farmer knows basically how much his costs are in putting a crop in, what his field capacities are as far as his acres per hour of each piece of equipment. How many acres a day can you plant? Or how many acres an hour? How much can you plow? How many tractors do you have? If you have any type of records, you know what your acre cost on seed is. You know what your acre cost on herbicide, fuel, fertilizer, nitrogen. You know what your fixed cost per acre is because of all the records. You know what your depreciation is for the year. You know what your repair bills are per year. They're all simple questions trying to get facts put together so the computer can consider all the facts and give you an answer.
The computer is fast and accurate in its response based on answers to questions on the input forms. It would take more than 11 years working 10 hours a day with a calculator to do the same job the computer does in a few seconds.
One of the things that we really did like about the computer program, another 240 acres came up for rent. And of course this changed we knew we had to go to bigger equipment, and like a four-wheel drive and a bigger combine and a bigger dryer, because just that 240 put us over the hump of what we've been doing. And so we plugged this in, and using very conservative figures, we found that it would certainly pay for us to go ahead. This is what I like about this. It gives you insight and puts your mind at ease.
The old adage holds true. You have to spend money to make money, and the computer shows where the opportunities are.
I didn't realize that there were times at all when you could be making more if you had someone extra working for you. I just never thought of it. I didn't realize how valuable my time was in our farming operation until we went to PROAG. I run the dryer operation out here because it's close to the house, and I can hear it when the dryer shuts off, and then I come out and start it again. And my time, we found out at PROAG, is worth more than $50 an hour.
The computer comes up with the very best way of combining resources based on the information provided by the farmer. The numbers can be revised to test the effect of changes that could be made on the farm. A change in one factor has a chain reaction impact, and the computer traces the effects through the entire operation.
My dad went to the PROAG meeting, and he ran our operation through the computer, and it was always kicking back beans to us, and we had done some pencil work and kept some records before this, and knew that on our particular operation that wasn't the most profitable for us, so we had some help, and we looked through the returns that we got from the computer, and it told us that our drying operations was why we was kicking the corn out, because we just didn't have the capacity. So we decided, since we was going to acquire some more land in the next year, that we best look for a bigger dryer and one that could move our operation forward in the fall to get more work done. I think maybe we might have suspected it, but this computer made it appear and even turned out now that it's going to be profitable and it's really going to help us in the future.
The computer analyzes available labor and its relationship to peak planting and harvesting time. The effect on profit of timely planting and harvesting becomes clear as farmers enter their own planting and harvesting dates into the computer.
These shadow prices are interesting. What is a shadow price? It is the opportunity cost you are losing by not getting that acre planted earlier. If you could have planted that acre the 1st of May, it would have yielded 150 bushel. You plant at the end of May, it will yield 120. So there's a difference of 30 bushels the acre in yield. Now say your planter will plant 10 acres an hour. So you come up with 300 bushels per hour difference between planting the 1st of May and the end of May. 300 bushels per hour times $2 is $600, and that is your shadow price.
A high shadow price is important because it shows an opportunity for profit. It puts a dollars and cents value on what a resource is worth in net profit if it were available. Shadow prices indicate areas where the lack of a resource is getting in the way of a more efficient operation.
We found an awful labor bottleneck I was going to have. One of our alternatives, we fed in a full-time man. All of a sudden, things start clearing up at planting time and harvesting time. And after I got the printout back, I got to looking at that thing, and that's one reason I hired a full-time man. If that computer hadn't told me to, I'd be out here trying to fish around with part-time help.
ProAg is a chance to try things out on paper before trying them out in the field. To test before you invest. After a farm operation is in the computer, the farmer can test out hypothetical situations by submitting change forms. He's asking the computer, okay, now what if I rented 200 more acres? Should I plant them to corn or to beans? How would it affect my equipment? How would it affect my labor?
And it's not always, you need a new combine. It's just what your operation needs at that point. You might need a combine, but the dryer will make you more money.
Roger will have one idea, and I'll have another, and Dad, he'll have a third idea. And we can take our ideas down there and run them through the program and get all our thoughts out on the table, and then we can come back with our printouts and analyze then from there which way you want to go.
ProAg has shown me where I have trouble spots. It has opened my eyes to look for trouble spots. The name of the game in farming is being timely, getting things done properly. ProAg shows you where you're losing your time. It makes you aware that, okay, I'm having too many repairs. Why am I having those repairs? And then you start looking for the other answers.
The computer does not make recommendations. It doesn't provide good judgment. It does enhance the management role of the farmer by giving him information about his operation that can help him make decisions.
Well, when I first heard about it, I thought it was probably just a gimmick, a promotion gimmick for Harvestar to peddle some merchandise. But after I got to the meeting or the seminar, I found out it was strictly a plan that was going to be beneficial to the farmer, and it had nothing to do with their farm machinery.
ProAg is a continuing farm management program. It plugs the farmer into a network through his international harvester dealer. He has learned to drive a new machine, the computer, that can help him meet new opportunities.
ProAg to me is a tool, just like a spade for turning over soil for a farmer. The ProAg is a tool for turning over new ideas.
It sounded good, so I thought, well, maybe I can learn something out of it. I'm not about to sit and let a computer tell me how to farm. Then just before we went, I got to thinking, by gosh, I'm going to take this whole thing with a grain of salt. It's going to be a bunch of baloney. I got down there, and then I got half scared like everybody else when they first saw that first worksheet. I thought, oh, wow, here we go. This is all I need now. But after I got done, I'll have to say that's the best 2.5 days I ever spent, any winter, any summer, anything. In fact, I think I'd lay off picking corn to go to another one if I had the opportunity. I think I learned that much out of it.
Tom Bowman, farmer. 12 or 15 years ago, when he finished college, Tom thought he was all through with paper farming. As you can see, he found out differently. Sometimes Tom gripes about the time he spends here in this room, but he keeps on spending it here all the same. Time was, so they say, when there wasn't much to farming, except a lot of hard work, hoping, and praying. It took plenty of hard work to get Tom where he is today, but it took something else, too. Tom knows some people who worked hard but just couldn't make it. They wound up working for somebody else in the big city. Not that there's anything wrong with working in the city, but Tom prefers to farm and to work for himself. That's why he's here now, in this room. Today's farmer must make 100 acres produce what 160 produced only a few years ago. It's his ability to do this, to find extra hidden acres of productivity in the land he now holds, that makes one farmer a success and another a failure. Those extra acres aren't made up of soil. They're made up of careful thought and bold decisions, the kind of decisions Tom is trying to make right now. Like any other businessman, Tom has effective control over only a part of his cost-price structure. Land, seed, livestock prices, these he must take pretty much as he finds them. And when he sells at the market price. But in between these fairly rigid boundaries, there does lie an area in which the careful farmer can maneuver enough to make a profit, if he works at it. Here, in the efficiency with which he manages his labor, his own and that he hires, and the efficiency with which he works his land, lies his chance for profits. If these fields produce more feed for his herd, if they produce as if there were extra hidden acres on his land, Tom Bowman can make a profit. Long before the invention of modern farming methods, man knew that the production of good hay took more than skill. It took luck and the cooperation of the weatherman. When science came to the farm, we found out why. The importance of vitamins and proteins was discovered, and the fact that the plant manufactures and stores them unequally in its various parts. In the alfalfa plant, for instance, 70% of the total food value is found in the tender leaves. Even under ideal conditions, the leaves dried faster than the stems, so that by the time the overall moisture content of the hay was low enough for storing, the leaves were over dry, easily lost. But all too often, curing conditions are not ideal. Rain-drenched hay must remain that much longer in the field. To the leaching effect of the rain is added the bleaching of long, extra hours in the hot sun. Much of the vitamin A in the hay vanishes. Even a cow knows the difference in hay and refuses or eats sparingly of the tasteless hay, which has left its best parts in the field. Tests conducted in several Midwestern states have shown that even the most careful farmers leave a fifth of the feed value in the field with standard haying practices. To keep the greatest possible amount of the growing plant's rich store of vitamins and proteins in his hay, the farmer must do two things. The first is to get the hay cut fast, during the short period when it is at its best as a feed crop. The second is to cut the curing time to a minimum, when the crop is exposed to the whims of the weather. If he succeeds in doing these two things, the farmer will have gone a long way toward finding those extra acres of production on his own land. Good hay means more feed from less land. Good hay means more meat, more milk. Good hay means good profits. But granted all this, Tom Bowman still has a problem. There's a wide variety of equipment offered these days, equipment to serve almost any type of haying operation. What kind should he choose to replace his old haying equipment? What about this one, for instance? The new McCormick-International 201 windrower with hay conditioner. Latest and best in a long line of distinguished machines from the world's best-known name in farm equipment. It's a beauty. It's efficient. But is his operation big enough to justify buying a specialized self-propelled unit? Actually, there are a good many reasons why an operator like Tom Bowman should have a self-propelled windrower. In the first place, there's investment cost. A self-propelled windrower can cost 50% less than the various pieces of separate equipment needed to do the same amount of work. And it's fast. A 14-foot platform like this cuts almost twice the swath an old 7-foot cutter bar made, and does it at field speeds up to 9 miles an hour. But this machine does more than cut. Cutting, raking, conditioning, it combines every haying operation up to baling into one. One operation, one machine, one man, one trip through the field. This cuts every operating cost from labor to fuel to a minimum. To understand how the all-new 201 windrower does these things, let's follow the operating sequence as the machine moves through a field of alfalfa. The reel shown is one of the pickup type recommended for this kind of haying operation. Heavy platform aprons of rubber-impregnated canvas carry the cut hay to the center, automatically lay it in a windrow with interlaced heads. The hay conditioning unit immediately picks up the fresh cut hay and passes it between two rubber rollers held under adjustable spring tension. The pressure crushes the tough, thick stems, but passes the tender, nutritious leaves without damage. The operation is simple, trouble-free, and almost automatic. It seems so easy that it's hard to realize that the result is almost a revolution in making hay. But this simplicity of operation is made possible only by the years of experience and engineering that went into the all-new 201 windrower. Take the power plant, for instance. This is that dependable water-cooled workhorse, the IH 42 horsepower engine. Because of this, it can take the many seasons of heavy-duty haying. Operating the windrower is as simple, natural, and practical as the designers can make it. For operating long hours, that means, first of all, a comfortable cushion, adjustable seat. Since hay is so often grown on fields unsuitable for other crops, the windrower must be handy to operate and quick to answer the controls, even in the roughest fields. The clutch and brake pedals are placed in the same position as those of an automobile, so that using them is instinctive to anyone who has driven a car or truck. With brake and clutch released, the steering control levers control the power delivered to the wheels. Releasing the clutch automatically puts the levers into position for straight-ahead movement. Steering is also designed to take advantage of automatic reactions. To turn right, pull the right-hand lever back. This engages the dual right drive wheels from the powertrain and puts the machine into a gradual right turn. To turn more sharply, pull the lever all the way back. This makes it possible for a 180-degree turn within its own length. To go into full reverse, pull both levers back. The platform hydraulic control pedal is equally simple in operation. Press down with the toe, and the platform is lowered to operating position. Pressure with the heel on the control pedal lifts the platform. The hay conditioner is automatically raised and lowered by the same movement. At the same time, the rollers open and clear themselves. Since the platform is normally raised at the end of a swath, This automatically prepares the conditioner for its next trip through the field. The position and action of the hay conditioner is an original International Harvestar development. Next to the platform control pedal is the reel control, the same natural movements. Pressing down with the toe to lower, and pressing down with the heel to raise. Control the movements of the reel. Other controls on the operator's platform are the throttle lever, which should always be fully forward when windrowing. The platform drive lever, which engages the platform powertrain when pushed forward, operating the knife, aprons, and reel. The variable speed control lever. Pressing the button on top, the lever releases the lock. Moving the lever forward to various notches gives field operating speeds from 2.5 to 9 miles an hour. The simplicity and natural action of these controls makes the 201 windrower the easiest operating machine in the field, with extra dividends in maneuverability. Normally, all necessary control operations can be conducted from the operator's platform without stopping and readjusting. However, working conditions will determine the need for making certain preliminary settings before cutting a field. For instance, the platform is in the contour float position for cutting hay. As this demonstration shows, the 201's full float works over waterways and obstructions, yet gets all of the down material on uneven ground. Adjusting to the vertical float position for transport or use in grain is simply a matter of inserting 2 lockout bolts, a job which can be done in minutes. Another setting which can be adjusted is the caster wheel. It can be adjusted to run along any size windrow without running on it. Platform aprons must be flexible to operate efficiently, so they are made of rubberized canvas. They should be slacked off each night and retensioned before work in the morning. The moisture content of hay also affects their tautness, and they should be occasionally checked during the day. With this locking pawl and hand ratchet, International Harvestar makes it a quick, simple operation. No extra tools are needed. These adjustable platform windrow deflector rods can be set to funnel hay into the hay conditioner, or to change the interlacing of the windrow to meet different crop and weather conditions. Another special feature of the 201 windrower is the low platform angle, only 24 degrees. Because of this, the reel bats are in contact with the hay for only the moment necessary to guide it onto the platform. This minimizes the damage to the delicate leaves in which most of the food value of the plant is concentrated. If the angle were a high one, the reel bat would act as a sweeping blade, forcing the cut hay up over the platform surface. The cutter bar is clean and simple in design. Since the shearing surface is built into the guards, no ledger plate is needed. The forged steel guards are slender to get under down material easily. The knife is easy to take off. Only 2 bolts must be removed. The knife drive is an automotive type drive. A ball and socket linkage that is solid, durable, and trouble-free. 3 separate drives, individually controlled, come off the engine. The entire powertrain is designed for efficiency, ease of operation, and dependability. Chain drives have been used when necessary. The chain drive for the hay conditioner operates from the engine's front power takeoff. The power for the platform and wheels is taken from the other end. The platform power takeoff delivers power to a single point where it's divided for the knives, reel, and platform. A pulley operates this enclosed planetary gear system through which power is transmitted to the wheels. The planetary gears run in oil for dirt and dust-free operation and added years of life. From the gear system, power moves through a double chain drive to each set of dual wheels. Top speed in the field is about 9 miles an hour. However, the windrower can be towed on the highway at speeds up to 25 miles an hour without removing these drive chains. All of these features add up to a rugged dependability that means speed and operating economy in the field. When the ease with which the machine handles and maneuvers is added for consideration, the 201 windrower becomes the outstanding buy in the windrower field. But for the farmer who is interested in quality and efficiency, one feature of the new 201 outweighs all others: the exclusive double rubber roll hay conditioner. As was mentioned earlier, 70% of the total food value of alfalfa, for instance, is found in the tender leaves. To preserve that value, it is necessary to speed up the drying time of the thick, fibrous stems, to make hay dry as fast as the leaves, not as slow as the stalks. To do this, it was necessary to develop a conditioner which would crush the thick stems, break them down for quicker drying, without damaging the valuable leaves. After years of research, International Harvestar developed the exclusive patented toggle linkage and double rubber roll, which made it possible to do a job of hay conditioning with which they would be satisfied. Michigan State University tests indicate that hay conditioned by crushing requires less than half the drying time of unconditioned hay. How much is the crushing worth? Estimates vary, but some farmers say it increases the value of the hay from $2.50 to $5 a ton. State laboratory tests indicated that the crushed forage contained 35% more carotene, the vitamin A substance, than unconditioned forage. But Tom Bowman still has his problem. Granted that conditioned hay is more palatable and nutritious, granted that the new 201 windrower is efficient and reliable. Still, can he use it effectively in his operation? Will the 201 windrower make money for Tom Bowman? Let's take a look at how the windrower stacks up against using a separate mower, conditioner, and rake. Here is the new International Harvestar 201 windrower with hay conditioner attachment ready to go. Equipped with a 14-foot platform, the 201 will do the work of 2 mowers, 2 hay conditioners, 2 rakes, and the tractors to pull them. It will do this job with 1 operator and 1 trip through the field. As a matter of actual fact, it can cut your labor costs or your own time to as little as a quarter of what it was. And by the same token, it can cut your fuel costs so low that you can figure fuel costs in pennies per acre. How big does an operation have to be able to use a 201 windrower efficiently? Obviously, the answer will depend to some extent on your kind of farming operation, the cost of labor locally, and other things. If you have only a few acres in hay, the chances are you could not use the 201 economically. But if you have a good-sized operation, like Tom Bowman, you can't afford not to have the 201. Farmers have already found they're making money by switching to the self-propelled 201. Do your own figuring, as Tom Bowman did. If yours is a medium to large operation, you'll find that the new International Harvestar 201 windrower with hay conditioner justifies its purchase in terms of operating and investment costs alone. Once in operation, you'll discover the extra bonuses, the riding comfort and secure natural controls. The sturdy, rugged, dependable design and all the special refinements are the result of many years of research and development by International Harvestar engineers. The exclusive double rubber roll hay conditioner gives continuous crushing of stems and can cut curing time in half. But the biggest and best bonus of all is the quality hay, rich in vitamins and nutrients, which you can produce with this most advanced of windrowers. Here, in the extra palatability and nutrition of crushed and conditioned hay, are extra hidden acres. Extra acres, whose crop is pure profit.
Colors, adding variety to a working day. Quality, by supplying the worker with the most modern tools and methods available. Introducing a totally new plant environment with a design attentive to the needs of man and the new technology in order to build the medium-duty MV series engines developed by International Harvestar for its Lodestar and Cargostar trucks. The rigorous, complicated process in one of the most advanced machining plants in the world begins with a simple step, the milling of the raw engine block. On most of the lines, the basic steps in the machining of a new part are the same: milling, rough boring, drilling, washing, and automatic checks. Work is work wherever you have to do it, but it's bound to be more pleasant in this new plant extension. Tempered air, noise control, modern lighting, and colorful machining lines provide an improved working atmosphere in the production of the MV gasoline engines, new additions to International Truck's engine family. Each one of the cylinder block accumulators is capable of storing 20 blocks and will be used in the event of delays or required tool changes. Each accumulator will store or retrieve. Under the big machines, there are pits that have a built-in downdraft system which removes stale air and recovers heat from the machining operations, thus achieving maximum energy conservation. And there are noise control features in the new environmental design. While each line produces a different part for the new MV8 engine, each line reflects a common basis of organization. Each line also has a distinctive color to add variety to a worker's day. The camshaft gets no special easy treatment. It's put in a grinder twice and is checked for defects by a multi-eyed inspector. Some of the new engine parts have to be checked for irregular distribution of weight. 2 Tinius-Olson balancing machines are used on the crankshaft line. The first machine is near the center of the line and gives a rough balance. At the end of the line, there is a finish balancer. Along the line, the crankshaft is deburred. This is done by placing the crank in a pan of manufactured fired ceramic stones. As the pan vibrates, the shaking stones smooth the crankshaft. At this point, blue seems the proper color for connecting rods. Here, the connecting rods are being cut in half. Now the cylinder head goes through the milling process. Another computer checkup. This one reveals any parts of the cylinder head that may be out of tolerance. to specific storage areas with orders to store or retrieve pallets of materials. 3 automatic elevator loaders operate on tracks and service the storage spaces on each side of each track. This space saver is 44 feet high and has more than 3,100 openings. Time for the final assembly. Static paint system. In building the MV series engines, International Harvestar has made a major commitment to the future of mid-range gasoline engines for trucks. And it has succeeded in producing a new and unique power plant that is designed to lower emissions while increasing fuel mileage, and will also meet the demands of truck operators for increased horsepower, torque, and reliability. This was only made possible through the creation of an entirely new plant environment at Indianapolis. The finest, most modern truck engine manufacturing facilities in the world. And the most colorful.
Track right where the front ones go. Straight as a rifle barrel down the rows. Never yaws one iota. Around the curves, too. The rear tires always following the tracks of the front ones.
Now that's hard to believe.
And you know where you are on the rows all the time.
Uh-huh.
But the main thing that sets this 2+2 apart, its main advantage over a typical four-wheeler for row crop work, is that the control center is back here on the rear half.
I can see that, so?
So, where's your control center on a typical articulated four-wheeler?
Well, it's pretty well up forward.
Actually, you're riding on the front half, up with the engine and front axle.
True.
When you're row cropping, that's a tremendous drawback, right?
Right.
Sure, you lose your feel for what's going on back here where the work's being done.
Hey, it's starting to make sense.
You don't have nearly the row crop control you have on a two-wheeler.
A good point.
But on this one you do, because on
Well, because you're controlling everything from the rear back where the hitch and implement are.
Exactly, just like on a two-wheeler.
Beautiful.
I tell you, there's never been anything even remotely like this tractor. I love it.
Hey, I kind of got that idea.
You gotta drive it to believe it.
Hey, how about letting me take her around a couple of times, huh?
I'll hop right up. But there is one condition.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
That you don't blame me if you end up buying one. Oh? Once you drive this tractor, you're going to be unhappy with anything else. You're going to be unhappy every time you get up on that one you've got.
You think so?
I know so. And you're going to blame me for being the one that spoiled it for you.
Well, maybe, but I'd like to try it anyway, okay?
Okay. You've been warned.
Good advice. When you try one, you'd best be prepared to buy one. You hit the field with one of these new 88s, and you know for the first time the unbelievable experience of having full-time 2+2 traction, pull power, stability, and flotation, combined with true row crop versatility and control, with either 130 or 150 PTO horsepower. These 2+2s are designed especially for row cropping with rear-mounted implements. As the man said a moment ago, the control center is rear positioned where it needs to be to give you the proper feel and precise control of the implement that a two-wheeler gives you. The kind of feel and control that you can't get with a typical four-wheeler. You're in full command of the operation, a critical advantage when you're doing exacting work like planting, cultivating, bedding, and such. The engine's located ahead of the front axle. This means you have adequate built-in weight for stability with rear-mounted implements. And there's no need for front-end weights, wheel weights, or calcium in the tires for most heavyweight tillage jobs. You get optimal flotation and traction with minimal compaction, wheel slippage, and fuel consumption. Optimal conversion of horsepower into work power. You get more work done per gallon of fuel. The optional night lighting system features highly functional light placement that's been researched and developed especially for row crop work. Powerful forward lighting is placed down close to the rows where you need it most. At the articulation point, you get a light on either side for optimal visibility during turns. And you get an abundance of lighting back where the work's being done. Adjustable halogen lights on the rear fenders can be aimed wherever you want a bright, clear view to the rear, sides, or front. An all-jobs tractor that's just the right size for handling the major workload on the average size farm. Another big advantage, you can step up from two-wheel drive to 2+2 performance without having to buy bigger implements to enjoy its benefits. You can still use your existing tools efficiently and effectively. This is full-time 2+2 drive, not an add-on, not a front-wheel power assist. Equal drive power, front and rear, all the time. An all-weather, all-season, 365 days a year tractor. You get International's exclusive torsion bar hitch that can sense load changes as often as 3 times a second, giving constant fraction of an inch depth control of the implement and unrivaled smoothness of operation. You get a fully articulated frame and steering, exceptional maneuverability, and tight turnarounds. Full power turns without braking, increasing productivity. You enjoy extra responsive power steering. High-capacity hydraulics make turning easy, even at low engine RPM. You get wheels that track. Rear wheels follow the front ones straight arrow down the row. Great for critical work like planting, cultivating, bedding, and the like. The low-profile sloping hood allows excellent down-the-row visibility and steering accuracy. You can feather the steering with a fingertip to stay on course in precision work. In the turns, the rear wheels follow the same tracks as the front ones exactly. You have your choice of 2 axle lengths, offering wheel tread adjustability to match virtually any row spacing, and a full range of optional tire sizes to meet virtually every crop requirement. The oscillating front axle keeps all 4 tires in firm contact with the ground constantly, over your roughest terrain. You get steady pull power all around, all the time. Superior stability, balance, and precision steering mean you can do straight line work even on side hills where the front end of a 2-wheel drive tends to yaw. The 88 is easy to control, safe to drive. You get 2+2 sure-footedness and 2+2 light-footedness. A lot more flotation, a lot less compaction. Less weight per square inch of tire on the ground than the same size 2-wheel drive with similar horsepower. The exceptional front-end stability and flotation are great for carrying big chemical tanks. You get minimal compaction. And in every 88, you get the proven powertrain, the proven reliability for which International tractors are famous. You get a reliable, long-life International engine that gives you superior torque rise and exceptional pull-through lugging ability. Turbocharged, with patented balanced pressure pistons for less carbon buildup and exclusive 200-hour oil change interval. You get International's new heavy-duty torque amplifier transmission, giving you on-the-go power shifting of 16 speeds, with a just right selection for virtually every job. You get the proven performance and dependability of International's two-stage power shift independent PTO that you can feather for smooth operation for gentle starts and stops. You get International's new high-capacity pressure flow compensated hydraulics with a motor priority valve for using hydraulic motors and single-acting cylinders without system adjustment. You get four-wheel stopping power with a single pedal, long-life internal wet brakes for reliable positive control, plus remote hydraulic controls with color-coded outlets, and flow control for each circuit that can be adjusted inside the control center. You get International's super convenient control center and operating data displays. You get a truly deluxe interior, including full carpeting with deep heavy pile, sun visors, storage pockets, and cloth seat. You get lots of other outstanding features on these tractors that your International dealer will be more than glad to show you. The truly unique feature, of course, is that you get all the row crop control and versatility of a two-wheel drive, plus all the advantages and efficiencies of two more full-time drive wheels up front, without the limitations of a typical four-wheel drive. Because the control center is located at the rear, where it gives you full command and precision control of rear-mounted implements. And you get this exclusive 2+2 performance in a tractor in the 130 or 150 PTO horsepower class.
Well, how do you think you're going to feel about going back to that tractor you've got after driving this one?
Well, I'm just going to have to go home and fix it up.
You're going to what?
Yeah, I'll just have to fix it up the best way I know how.
Well, I don't...
Oh, so I can get top dollar on it when I trade it off for one of these.
Oh, I told you.
As the man